Elementor is one of the best page builder plugin in WordPress, and in this video, let's see everything about it. Hi friends, welcome to Fully Techie. Let's get started. Hi friends, I'm Purushottaman. In this video, we'll be seeing about Elementor in this order. First, we'll be seeing about sections and columns, and then we'll be seeing about some basic widgets, and then we'll be seeing about site settings, and then we'll be seeing about intersections, and then we'll be seeing about margin and padding, and at last we'll be seeing about responsive modes. So let's dive into our computer. First, let's install Elementor to our WordPress website. Installing Elementor is very simple, just like installing any other plugins in WordPress. Just go to plugins and click on add new and search for Elementor. Here we got that. Click on install and activate. It is very simple. Just like installing any other plugin in WordPress, you have to install Elementor. Elementor is a page builder plugin. So what we are going to do is we are going to build pages with Elementor. For creating a new page, go to pages and then click on add new. Let's give some name to this page like sample page and then click this button, edit with Elementor. It will take a while and you will be headed on to Elementor's page editor. I don't want this sample text title displayed over here. So to hide that, go to settings and toggle this to hide your title. So this is your Elementor Canvas. This is where you create pages of your website. On the left hand side, we have lots of widgets. I will cover up some basic widgets in this video. And on the right hand side, we have our Elementor Canvas where we create pages of our websites. Let me start with sections and columns. So you have to click this plus icon to add a new section, and it will ask you how many columns do you want in a section. So I'm just going with 2 column section, and let me throw you some information about columns and sections. On the internet, everything what you see is a section, and within a section there will be columns, and within a column there will be elements. So this is a section now you see, and within the section we have 2 columns. So this is how the whole internet works. Let me show you an example. I'm here in Amazon's website. When I hover around the elements, it will be highlighted. You see here, they have used a section over here, and there is another section over here. And within this section, there are lots of columns. So everything what you see in the internet, every single website you see, they works like sections and columns. There will be sections, one down by another, and there will be columns inside the section. So here we got 2 column section. So this is the very basic thing you should understand about creating websites, section and columns. This name might change in different tools, like in WordPress page editor you call it blocks, in Elementor we call it sections. If you use any other tools, the name might change, but the concept is the same. You see this grid icon, right? If you click on this, you can get back to your elements page. So let's add some basic elements like heading. Here on elements, we have some basic elements like heading, image, button, text, intersection. Intersection is one of the important widgets. I will cover about intersection in the later part of this video. So let's add an heading widget to this. To add a widget, you just have to drag it to the column you want. Now you see we got a heading widget over here. You can edit the text over here. You can customize your widgets on the left side. Now I have entered my name. Under style, we got these options we got to change the color of our text. We can change the font of the text. We can increase or decrease the size of a text. We can change its boldness. And also we can do some fancy stuffs like this. So, and then you see advanced options. Under advanced, you got to see the most important settings. And the top most advanced settings is margin and padding. I will cover up about margin and padding in the later part of this video. Now let's just see about other widgets. So again, I'm clicking on this grid to get back to my elements page, and let's add a text editor widget. And this is pretty similar to the heading widget. You just have to select the text and type your desired text. And same settings on styling. You can give the alignment for this. You can change the color and the typography. You can change the fonts. You can change the sizes and boldness. You do the all fancy stuffs over there. In advanced, pretty much the same. So So if you take a widget, customizing it is pretty much same for all the widgets. And by the way, I am a freelancer, and if you want me to work on your web designing projects, then do contact me through the link available in the description. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into it. Let's see about site settings. Click on this hamburger menu and then click on site settings. Here we got to see a lot of options. I'm not going to cover up all this, but the most important things which you have to see here is global color and global fonts. In the global colors, you got to see this color palette. Here I would give you a pro tip. As a designer, whether you are working for your own project or you're working for your client, you have to set a color palette and you have to work only with the color palette. The color palette can have up to 5 colors, but it's always good to work within 3 colors. Then only the website would look more professional. So I'm just going to set some colors for my color palette. Another thing is, don't pick up colors like this. Find a color, get the hex code of the color, and then type your hex code. So this is how you properly set a site color. So okay, I have chosen some colors. This is not a color palette. I have chosen some random colors for this video. And let's see about global fonts. With global fonts, you have to set certain fonts for your website. Here also I would give you a pro tip. Never work with more than 2 to 3 fonts in a website. 3, it's dead end. Always try to work with 1 font. In some cases you might have to use 2 fonts, but 3 is a dead end. You should not use more than 3 fonts in a website. So once after setting your global fonts and global colors, click on update to save our changes and then close this tab. Now I'm deleting the elements which I have used previously, and I'm going to put the same element again. Now you got to see our heading turn into a primary color, which we have set in our site settings. Okay, now we are pretty much good with the basics of Elementor. Now let's get a little bit deeper into it. Let's check out intersection widget. I'm just dragging it and dropping it on the second column. So now we got a section inside our column, and that is a 2-section column. We can delete any column by selecting it and hitting delete. You might ask me, why do I need a section inside a column? If you are a UI UX designer, you'll be creating some complex designs, and for creating those complex designs, you need this intersection. An intersection is just a section inside your column, and it has a column inside it. It would act as just a normal column. You can drag and drop any widgets to it. It will perform the same action as what a column did. And by the way, here you got to see, now we got this text in the color which we have set in our site settings. And now let's see about margin and padding. This is the most important thing you should know about creating a website. You cannot create a good design without knowing this properly. Let me give the border to all the sections and columns for you to understand it more well. Margin and padding. Basically, they both do a same job. If we add margin or padding, it will create some empty space. They both helps us to create a better positioning of our element. Before making any change, let me change the color of this column. So I'm going to work on this column, this red bordered column. So I'm starting with margin. So if I change anything in the margin, we will get some space outside this red border. Let me show you how. I'm going to add 50 pixels of margin. If it is in gray color, it means it is linked, and if it is linked, it will take that value in all other sides. So now I have added 50 pixels of margin. What it does is, I have added 50 pixels of empty space outside of my column. Let me repeat it again. By adding 50 pixels of margin, I have added 50 pixels of empty space outside my column. So now you see our column is a little bit expanded. This happened because we have added 50 pixels of margin in all the sides. And now let's see about padding. Just like margin, it is very simple. By adding some padding, that was a bit rhyming. By adding some padding, what you can do is you can add some space inside your column. So what I have did here is I have added 50 pixels of space from the column to our widget. So this is what padding does. If you feel it is very hard to understand, just understand it very easily. Margin means adding empty space outside of our column, and padding means adding empty space inside of our column. We use this to create a better visual design. Let's see the practical application of using this margin and padding. So I have this text over here. I want it to be a little bit inside this column. So what I can do is I can increase the padding at 10 pixels. Now I got this text little bit inside of this column, and by unlinking this chain, what I can actually do is I can increase the padding of one single side. Now I have given 50 pixels of padding only on the top. Rest of the sides have only 10 pixels of padding. What I want is, I want this column to move a little bit towards right. What I have to do is, I have to go to this column and then I have to unlink this chain, and I want to have 50 pixels of space on the left side. So I'm just adding 50 pixels, and let's give some 10 pixel padding for differentiate other sides. So by this way I have moved this column 50 pixel towards right side. I can move further more like 100 pixels. So by this I have moved this column 100 pixels far from the start. And I want this red color column to be moved a little bit towards right. So again I'm going to click on this red color column, and I'm adding some margin to the right. Sorry, I'm adding some margin to the left. I'm adding 100 pixel margin to the left. So by this way I have moved this column 100 pixels towards right. So this is how we use margin and padding to create a better visual positioning. You just understand it very easily. Margin means adding space outside of a column, and padding means adding space inside of a column. That is so simple, and it might sound a little bit complicated at the beginning, but if you start working with Elementor, it will be very easy. By the way, if you watched till now, you might like this video. If you like this video, give a thumbs up. That helps YouTube algorithm to push this video furthermore. Now let's get back to our topic and let's see about responsive design. So we have created this page in desktop view, and if you want to know how does it look in mobile view, we have to click this, and we got these options, and here you have to click on mobile to see how this website looks on mobile view. Actually this thing is totally a crap in mobile view. In desktop view you saw that our columns are next to each other, but in mobile view you see that our columns are down below each other. So this happens because of the size of the text and the margin and padding which we have added. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to cut this padding only on mobile view. You see that? Let's give 10 pixels padding for all the sides. So you see that we have given 10 pixels padding for mobile view, and when you go to desktop, it didn't change. You can give a specific positioning for a specific view. So here also what I'm going to do is, I'm going to change it to the default values. So you see here we have changed this layout in the mobile view, and in desktop view we didn't change anything. So that's the coolest part here. You can change your positioning on one particular viewport. So by this way you see we have created a separate positioning for our desktop view and separate positioning for mobile view. And another coolest feature here is responsive designs. You see here we have two columns here, and what I feel is, I don't want this column for mobile view. So what I can do is, I can click on this column and I can go to advanced and I can go to responsive, and I can hide this particular column only in mobile view. When you see like this, you got to see only one column for this website, but when you see it on desktop view, you got to see this column, but in mobile view alone we have hidden that column. So now let me summarize everything which we have seen in this video. First, we have seen about columns and sections, and section are the main parts of our website, and within section there will be columns, and within columns we will be adding our widgets. On the left hand side of the Elementor we have all the widgets, and we will be using those widgets to create our website. And then we have seen how to change the text, and then how to customize the widget, and then we have seen about site setting. In site setting we have seen how to set a color palette for your website, and in global fonts how to set some fonts for your website. And then we have seen about intersections. Intersections are basically a section inside a column which we will be using in some complex designs. And then we have seen about margin and padding. Adding some margin is like adding some empty space outside of your element, and adding some padding is like adding some space inside your element. And then we have seen about responsive modes. You can create a particular design for particular viewports, and you can customize the settings for particular viewports. And that's all about the basics of Elementor. If you watch this video till now, then now you can start creating websites using Elementor. And by the way, this is not a single video about Elementor. I have created a series of videos about Elementor, and to watch the playlist, click on this video. And to watch the next video of this series, then click on this video. Thank you for watching.